And ladies and gentlemen, our highly anticipated main event this Saturday, scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the IBF and Ring Magazine Cruiserweight Championships of the World. Let's now welcome the challenger, a native of Germany, now fighting out of Istanbul, Turkey, undefeated. Let's welcome Huseyin the Hurricane Cinkara. And we now welcome the defending world champion from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, Jai Opetaia. We have with us Tasman Fighters promoter Mick Francis, and we hand things back over to your host, Rob Scheif.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main card for the Ring of Fire, Opetaia versus Cinkara. Now, this does have big fight feel written all over it. Not much bigger than the MC from Riyadh season, Mr. Thomas Schreiber, doing an amazing job now coming down under to represent this great card. Ladies and gentlemen, a once-in-a-generational fighter, Australia's champion, the king of the cruiserweights, the most feared in his division, the IBF and Ring Magazine champion, a man that's spoken about right now in the pound-for-pound records, and one that everyone's excited to see move through to heavyweight, the king of Australian boxing. This is Opetaia versus Cinkara, live on Stan Sports and around the world on the UFC Fight Pass. I now move towards his opponent all the way from Turkey, Huseyin Cinkara, and his interpreter, Fidel Turkle. And we now ask the first questions, because this, the main event. Mr. Cinkara, welcome to Australia. Welcome to being part of the main event. What kind of challenges does Jai Opetaia provide?
Öncelikle burada bulunmaktan çok memnunum, mutluyum. Tabii bir de buradaki insanları çok sevdim, burayı çok sevdim. Buradaki insanların da Türklere olan sevgisini de gördüm. Bu da beni ayrıca çok memnun etti.
I just wanted to say thanks for having us here. I'm very happy to be here. I've taken it. I really like the people here. I really like the country and the Turkish community here for getting behind me. It's been excellent. I can't say too much, as much as what I should, and how much the Turks have got behind him since he's been here.
Biz çok çalıştık bu maç için gerçekten. İyi çalıştık ve hazır geldik bu maça. Motivasyonumuz çok yüksek.
He's worked very hard for this fight, and they've covered all bases. They're ready to go. There's nothing that he believes he's forgotten. He's ready to fight. He's bringing the game.
Not too many fighters have called out Jai Opetaia. What makes you so confident? Is it just the work that you've put in camp?
Jay şu anda şampiyonların içinde en iyisi. Hem karakter olarak hem de sporculuğuyla çok saygı duyuyorum. O yüzden zaten ona karşı dövüşmek benim için ayrıca bir motivasyon. Ben buraya geldim, tüm motivasyonumla, tüm imanımla, tüm inancımla geldim bu maçı kazanmak için.
First of all, he wants to just explain that he knows that Jai is the best champion out there in the cruiserweight division. He has total respect for not just his fighting ability, but his demeanour and his character. He's a very nice man. You can see that. He goes, but I've come here prepared, and I with all my belief and in all my, not just my in myself, but because of the belief the Turks have in me as well, I'm gonna bring the fight come Saturday night.
And what would it mean for you to dethrone the king of the cruiserweights? What would it mean for him to dethrone the king of the cruiserweights and win on Saturday night?
Cumartesi günü iki dövüşçü karşı karşıya gelecek. İkimiz de en iyisini yapacağız. Şimdi tabii ki ben burada nasıl dövüşeceğim, nasıl yapacağım bunu konuşmak istemiyorum. Ama iki dövüşçü cumartesi günü bir araya gelecek ve elinden geleni yapacak. İyi olan da kazanacak.
Respectfully speaking, he goes, on Saturday night, there's going to be two fighters in that ring. We both believe we're going to win. We're both going to bring our best game, and the best man will win. And I believe that's going to be me.
Jai Opetaia, we've talked about you so much. Now it's very rare for fighters to actually want to call you out. Most fighters do get the call up to see if they want to fight you. They say yes. We see them talk up a game as they move through fight week and the media. But this man has genuinely wanted to fight you. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, good on him. It's just another day in the office for us. I'm prepared for 12 rounds of war, man. I keep saying it, but we've been in the trenches. We've ticked every box. Let's do it.
Another international opponent, a big stage, live on Stan Sports, UFC Fight Pass around the world. It's been challenging for you to get fights, but this man's in front of you now. What challenges does he bring when you face him on Saturday night?
It's been challenging to get the right fights. I'm looking for those progress fights, but, we're here now. He does bring a lot of challenges. You don't become number one to mandatory on accident. He's the first one to sort of step up. I'm sure they offered him some cash to step aside so we could get a different fight, but, he believes he can win. So he's got nothing to lose, man. He's coming to win, so it makes him dangerous. But we are ready for the danger. We prepare in those deep waters all day. So whatever he brings, we got an answer to. I'm curious to see how he comes out. How hungry is he? How tough is he? So let's find out on Saturday.
Each opponent's very different. What's been the main idea or the main tactic that Tapu Opetaia, your father and trainer, what's the main thing that he's been saying throughout this fight camp that you have to focus on?
We don't change our style too much. We perfect the craft. Minimal mistakes. We get fitter, stronger, and we try and tighten. There's obviously a few punches that we've been working on a bit extra that we think we can work, but we are ready for anything. Whether he comes out aggressive, we fight fire with fire, we box, we brawl, whatever comes, let's do it.
Your third world title in the same year, in the same city. It's usually very difficult for a world champion to be matched that well and to stay that busy, that way avoiding inactivity. How ready are you now to make sure that you cement yourself in history and take on the rest of the world?
This is a very important fight for my career. I've got my world titles on the line, so losing to me is not an option. It's third time here this year on the Gold Coast, so thank you to everyone for coming here again. They really turn up. We've got another sold-out arena. It's special, man. And to give the boys a platform, I didn't have these platforms coming up for the rankings. There was no big world title fights and stuff for me to fight on, so it's something to be proud of, man. And the talent that's been up on these tables it's crazy, because these are my peers, these are my people. I've seen them come from the start and then progress into the champions they are today. So it is something to be very, very proud of. Shout out to Tasman Fighters for giving these people a great experience every time we have these fights. But like I said, man, we got a job to do on Saturday and we got to make sure we get it done.
Mick, you have a once-in-generational fighter to your left, a superstar who loves being able to give back and provide opportunities for the undercard. Quite a special human you have with you.
Absolutely, and that's who Jai is. Everyone knows Jai. He means business in the ring and he's business outside of the ring. So, and one thing when I first got involved with Jai, I was always talking about creating these platforms and give these younger fighters the chance to fight on these big cards. And Jai's actually the guy that wants to do these big fights here in Australia. I know we're looking for these big fights around the world. While these guys are ducking, Jai's giving these guys the opportunity. And there's been a couple of things mentioned today about Mick and Fran, another sold-out arena. But, mate, the reality is, mate, Australia's coming to watch this guy here. This is the guy, this is the star. And he is a once-in-a-generational fighter. He is the best fighter to ever come out of this part of the world, hands down. I'll challenge anyone on that. He's only 30 years old. He's only getting started. There's bigger things to come. But he's the most feared fighter in the world. Forget about divisions. He's the most feared fighter in the world. Now, every other division, there's some animals in different divisions, but they seem to be able to make fights. This guy has been offering to fight these guys for a can of Coke and a Mars bar to get these fights across the line, and they're still not facing him. So, you know, it just goes to show how much of a talent this guy is. You know, remember going back to the Olympics 2012. He was the youngest Australian to ever represent Australia in the Olympics at boxing. So just that on its own is massive. He's been a star his whole way through. So, you know, we are lucky to have Jai here for the third time this year. It is sold out again. Every time we've had Jai here, the arena gets sold out. Going back 12 months ago, they said, oh, Jai doesn't sell. Well, bullshit. Have a look at these arenas. He's selling them out not only on the day, he's selling them out a week before. I think the David Noika fight was 2 weeks before. So, you know, credit to not only us Tasman fighters, but it's a team effort. But Jai Opetaia, he's the star here.
Mick, final question, and we'll make this one very brief if we could. The importance of keeping Jai active, not waiting for opponents. If they don't want to fight, we move on and we continue to fight. How important is that, especially with a world champion?
Yeah, definitely. And at this level, the worst thing for guys at this level is inactivity. Inactivity, you know, the guys go stale. They go, you know, their minds go elsewhere. They've got to stay active. They've got to stay in the media. They've got to stay in the gym. And there's no better place to do this here on the Gold Coast. And shout out to Experience Gold Coast. Well, these guys have been a partner not only for this year, they're also a partner way back when Jai fought Breedis back in 2022. So shout out to these guys, because these guys make these things happen here on the Gold Coast as well. But, you know, like, it's all about legacy. We're all leaving legacies here. And thank you for everyone for coming out and supporting.
Ladies and gentlemen, Opetaia versus Cinkara, Saturday night, December 6th, live on stand. The QR code is available. The venue is sold out. Make sure you grab your pay-per-view on UFC Fight Pass around the world. A star-studded undercard. We will now throw back over to our host, Maria Rico, and the former IBO Cruiserweight champion, Ted Kofi.